Let's learn about resource planning. My organization's using a new Impulse feature called resource planning. This forecasting tool calculates the number of records or estimated hours for my scheduled maintenance records so I can plan and staff accordingly. Here we're looking at all scheduled maintenance records for our 52-week plan. This is broken down into a count of these records by week. Our database has over 10,000 scheduled maintenance records factoring into this display. Oof, that's a lot of data. The layout I've built here is grouped by a field we've labeled region. This is the total number of scheduled maintenance records that will be coming due for the regions for the next 52 weeks. I can expand these regions to see the schedules for the locations within each region, the different types of equipment in the locations, or to the specific assets. Over to the right, we can see how those calculations display in weekly groupings for this 52-week period. Each of these rows gives me a count of the scheduled maintenance records, which, in this case, are all color-coded. These colors are based on the average number of schedules for this time period. Red is too high, blue is too low, green, just right. If I click on any of these cells, I can see the scheduled maintenance records relevant to the count. To build these layouts, I click the Configure icon. This is where we define what we are factoring into this layout. I've chosen equipment records. I've also decided what we are calculating from the scheduled maintenance records. Next, I have to decide what my date range is and how these dates will be grouped. We chose weekly grouping. All resource planning layouts will display from today moving forward. Then I picked the fields from the asset records that will group the data that displays in the layout. Moving these around, we can determine the order of display: region, location, type of equipment. I can also use these filters to narrow down exactly what we need to see. Another option to consider here is role-based access control. I'll come back to that in a minute. We can see the final section down here is where we build the color codes. This is where I configured my red, blue, and green color codes based off percentages. Once I'm done, I can click the Save icon. Because I'm looking at a year's worth of calculations, it's going to take a minute to load when I close out of the configuration. Remember, if we have role-based access control set up, it'll limit the amount of data the end user is going to see. Here, Todd's in a group that can only see one location, so his resource planning screen is specific to what he needs to see, which is a lot less data. Looking back at the resource planning screen, I'm convinced this is going to be a valuable addition to our Impulse reporting tools. Now when my boss says, "What do we have going on?" I can say, "Well, here it is." Man, Impulse makes me look good. For questions about this topic or any other topic, feel free to email us at support@impulsesoftware.com or give us a call at 800-944-1796.